This movie is bananas. So The Monkey is out, the newest movie from Osgood Perkins, who you may know from LongLegs, and this movie might be just as controversial. Now, The Monkey is not claiming to be the scariest movie ever made, but it does claim that everybody dies.
Everybody dies.
I gotta say, they're not lying. Now, right off the bat, if you want to enjoy this movie to the fullest, you have to go in with expectations that this is a pure, nonsensical movie and it has way more elements of comedy than it does horror. Think Final Destination, but more goofy and mostly random at times because the monkey's rules are just that. Like life, sometimes things cannot be explained. So my overall spoiler-free thoughts are, the movie works best when people are dying. There are some fun and extremely creative, brutal kills. One that especially shocked me and disgusted me, and it involves a wasp nest. And I really appreciated how far they took some of the kills. When you think they won't show you something, they do. You took hot rod humor and mixed it with Final Destination is the best way I can explain this. The movie is just here to make you laugh at most characters on screen, as the dialogue is just so silly, and the movie is most fun when it doesn't take itself too seriously and you're just in it for the ride and watching these characters get dismembered in many creative ways. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, hey, go check it out. Let me know in the comments below what you thought afterwards, but stick around if you want to hear my overall spoiler thoughts. Now, The Monkey follows two boys who discover this monkey-like toy, and they discover that this was left behind from their dad, who unexpectedly basically left their life. And they soon figure out that when you wind up the monkey and it beats its drums, somebody in the world dies. Now, the rules of who and why the monkey kills a certain person are basically told us, as there are no real rules to this. You kind of just have to accept most things that happen, and the movie kind of turns into a cartoon, because once the movie moves on from when the kids are kids and they become adults, plot gets a little more questionable. The two boys are played by the same actor, and I give him kudos for that, because I honestly thought the other twin brother was a different actor at times. And essentially, one of the brothers is kind of a nerd and gets picked on and bullied from his other brother, and when they think the monkey is the one who killed their mom, they decide to throw it down a well and forget about it for the next 25 years. We then catch up with the main nerdy brother, and he's kind of a loner and he kind of keeps his distance from everyone, and he kind of explains it as if he's afraid that if the monkey comes back, it's going to kill the people closest to him. But all the while we discover that he has a son, and this is the first time where I questioned, why the hell would you have a child if you refuse to see your child because you're scared of the monkey? Why even get this deep into a relationship with someone and then procreate? So he then decides he's gonna take his son out for one last hurrah before his son is adopted by a new dad in town, and that dad is played by Elijah Wood. And Elijah Wood only really has a couple minutes of screen time, and this kind of disappointed me because his character was set up to be quite funny and a leading expert in relationships and family values, and they don't really take this anywhere, and soon it becomes a father-son road trip where the son starts to learn about his dad and his past and his other sibling, and he doesn't even know that he has an uncle, or the story of the monkey at all. And this is when the monkey turns up again and starts killing people around him until he receives a phone call from his twin brother, and they both come to the conclusion that the monkey is on the loose and they gotta figure out who the heck is turning the monkey on and killing all these people. So fast forward, we get the perspective of the other twin brother, and he's actually been the one turning the monkey all along, and he's trying to kill his own brother because he still blames him for their mother's death. Now, there's another side character played by the guy who played Corey in the last Halloween movie, and he's wearing this ridiculous 80s wig, and he's just such a goofy character, and his plot line was so completely random but integral to how the two brothers end up meeting up at the very end of the movie, until eventually father and son face the uncle, and they essentially have a heart-to-heart about how they both lost their mother, and the two brothers seem to have finally got on the same page and are ready to have a relationship, till boom, the monkey has other other plans in store and takes out his final victim, the twin brother. And father and son are on the road again as they traverse the wastelands of the town of all the victims of the monkey. Now, as a whole, this was all a very fun plot, but what really distracted me throughout the movie was most of the dialogue, where it definitely came off very unserious, and that was fine. It then mixed in moments of seriousness, especially between the father and his son, and it made it difficult for me to buy into this relationship and buy into anything serious, because 5 seconds later something absolutely ridiculous would happen, and the dialogue would get so awkward. So why would I care about this relationship between the father and the son when it's just a silly scenario to begin with and the movie acknowledges it? Does that make any sense? Now, I do love cursed object horror and I do love comedy horror at the same time, but this one leans so far away from horror into comedy. Even most of the comedy didn't really land with me. For example, there's a funeral scene and a priest is giving his eulogy, and the way he delivers it felt like he was trying to be funny. He was so horrible at it that it wasn't even believable. So I did find the comedy was very hit and miss. Some things did land, but some things just didn't. And really all I cared about was watching how the monkey was gonna kill its next victim. And would we learn, was there any trick to it? Was there an actual way to defeat this thing? And the answer to that was pretty much no as well. As long as you don't wind it up, it can't really do anything. But then again, at the end of the movie, it kind of does its own thing at one time. When the uncle starts wrestling with it, it seems like he triggered something and he was able to drum up a beat on its own. And I think I get the whole point of the movie. As described on the box, it says, like life. And I think the overall explanation of the movie is, like life, it's chaos, it's random, and sometimes bad things happen and you can't really explain it, and you just have to accept it and move on with your life and not let the impending doom ruin your life experience. So overall, it really depends on your mood going into a movie like this. If you're ready to turn off your brain and just accept what the monkey throws at you, I think you'll have a pretty good time. The kills are going to keep you satisfied as it goes along, and just enjoy the utter and sheer randomness that this movie will provide. So have you guys seen The Monkey? Are you checking it out this weekend? I'd love to hear what your favorite Stephen King adaptation is. And are you an overall fan of comedy horror? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, my name is Thick Nick, and I'll see you in the next one.